Welcome to the Highly Sensitive Podcast. I'm Lauren LaSalle, and I'm a former therapist. I'm a highly sensitive person and a self-care and empowerment coach for highly sensitive people. My goal for this podcast is to create a feeling of community, to be a supportive place for HSPs, and to normalize our experiences as highly sensitive people. Because I'm pretty sure we've all spent way too much time feeling like we're weird or don't fit in. Well, guess what? Here, you fit in perfectly. This podcast will give you tools to better understand yourself, to help you learn how to care for yourself as an HSP, and to start viewing your sensitivity as a strength. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's begin. Hello, and welcome back to the Highly Sensitive Podcast, or if this is the first episode you are listening to, welcome. I am excited to be back and posting this guest episode because this guest, oh my goodness, she totally blew me away with her holistic approach to teaching English as a second language, and all of her students are incredibly lucky to have her. But before I introduce my guest, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my program that I've been working on that I am launching this fall, hopefully in just several weeks. Fingers crossed. I've been working really hard on it. It is a lot of work and I am very excited. I think it's going to be a great way to support HSPs who are ready to really delve into what it means to take care of yourself as a highly sensitive person. So this program is called the Sensitive Self-Care Collective, and this program is designed specifically for HSPs who are ready to embrace their sensitivity, become empowered to set boundaries, and practice effective self-care and cultivate self-compassion and acceptance. So what I love so much about the Sensitive Self-Care Collective is that you get to connect with everybody else who is in the collective. So there are 12 modules over 12 weeks that are all about different aspects of taking care of yourself as a highly sensitive person. And along with that, you are in a community chat with all of the other people who are doing this at the same time as you. And it is rolling admission when it is open. So they might be at a different point in the program than you are, but you can all connect, talk, share your experiences, get advice, get support, give support. So I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a really great way to support my clients. And I am so excited to release it to you. I just need to finish up a couple more things and get it ready to launch. So I'm very excited about that. I am also relaunching my one-to-one coaching program, which has a very limited number of clients that I will be working with. And I am full up right now, so we'll see when that will open up. But I'm very excited about these programs. So that's what I've been working on. And now, I have one more thing to share. So on the Reclaim app, and if you haven't heard of this yet, it's the app I created that is all about self-care and boundary setting for highly sensitive people. It's basically all of my content in one place. And I have an HSP community on there. It used to be under the paid subscription, but now it is open to everybody. So if you have the free version of the app, you can be a part of the HSP community chat. So this is super cool. If you go into the community section of the app, you can find the thing to click on that is the HSP community application form. Fill that out, and there is a very good chance I will accept you into the community, because the only reason I have that there is so that the community is more protected, because I don't want other people to be able to see just automatically from downloading the app what we are talking about. I want this to be a place where people feel safe and secure, and like you can be open and honest about what's going on and really be able to connect with other people. So I have that application form there just as a way basically to collect the people's information who would like to join, and then I can add you into the community. So it's not to keep people out, it's just to make sure that it is a private and safe place. And along with that, we also have a monthly live Zoom meeting, and it's usually on a Saturday afternoon, usually around 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, just because that's what seems to work for the people in it so far. But I do ask everybody in the community every month what day and time works for them. So I do take everybody's schedules into account and try to find the best time for everyone. And if you would like to be a part of that, that is $10 for each meeting. You can decide if you want to do it or not each month. You don't have to do it because you're a member of the community. So that's another option. It's been a really great way to connect with other HSPs, and everyone who has gone to the Zoom meeting so far has felt just like an instant connection with each other, and we've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of really great conversations that we probably don't have with anybody else. So I would highly encourage you to join that. I will put all of the links for everything in the episode description. You can always email me if you have a question. But now, to get into my guest. So, my guest today is Carmen Ortiz. She is 32 years old, she is Mexican, and she lives in Mexico City. She studied languages, and she has 2 diploma degrees in teaching, Spanish and English. She has studies in positive psychology and in social business. She has a master's degree in neuropsychology, multiple intelligences, and mindfulness. She is an English coach, and she works with students who have fears, anxiety, or nervousness towards English. She loves cats, her hubby, reading, being herself, and of course, being an HSP. Carmen talks about her recommendations for HSPs. She talks about how she has a different approach to her business, to teaching English as a second language. Wait until you hear about this. It is so cool. I was so excited to hear about it. She talks about her experience with imposter syndrome, which I know so many of us have experienced at one point or another in our lives. And at the end of our conversation, she shares some grounding exercises that I hope everybody will benefit from. So, without further ado, here is my conversation with Carmen. So, what was it like discovering that you're highly sensitive?
Well, for me, it was amazing because it showed me that I was not crazy, that I was not this kind of person, hypersensitive to everything, to environment, to feelings, to emotions, to empathy, to that I remember feeling like a alien around the other children because I felt too much. And then as a teenager, I even felt weirder around them. So for me, finding out that I was a highly sensitive person and that actually exists and there are actual studies around people like us, it was a game changer in every way because that showed me that being highly sensitive is not a curse, is an actual gift. So for me it was a game changer in so many ways.
Do you remember how long ago it was that you discovered that?
Yeah, I discovered it maybe 6 years ago. I am 33 years now. So I discovered it just not so long ago, but it really changed the way I see myself and also how I allowed others to come near me. Because, this vibing from the other people sometimes is so disturbing that it really drains you out. So when I learned that I was sensitive, I learned how to manage my own emotions and my own approach towards them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in a way how it was a game changer for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my cat.
Hello there.
It is amazing how once you discover that it is a real thing, it can really help how you view yourself and how you approach taking care of yourself and learning how to like deal with the big emotions or other people's emotions or that kind of thing. So it's really cool that all of us seem to have very more or less similar experiences in that way, and that it's helps us know ourselves a lot better and feel like we're not a weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know in your case, but my emotions tended to go extremes, like extreme joy or extreme sadness. So I couldn't find a way. Of course, therapy has helped me so much in managing my emotions. I mean, I think that I wouldn't be this functional that I'm today as an entrepreneur and creating my own business without therapy. I mean, this, and I have the luck for having such a great therapist who understands that
Mm.
and who has been the one who has been taking me side by side in this progress. Like, I mean, if you have signs of being a highly sensitive person, go to therapy, please, because that will help you so much. And also find someone who knows the term, because it is such a new term that most psychologists do not know about that, and they think that it's something that it's invented or yeah, that someone made it up.
Mhm.
And it's not. It's an actual fact. There are actual studies, but not every psychology knows what it is.
Right.
So I would suggest that they also inform who is going to be next to you.
Mhm.
Because in my case, some kind of therapies like the cognitive one, it didn't work. Like, yeah, for small things, but not in a deep way. Like the Gestalt, for example, my psychologist is Gestalt, so she has helped me and she understands the term, she understands who I am. And yes, I think people should go with someone who actually knows more about the topic.
Yeah, that's great that you have a therapist that knows about high sensitivity. That's really, really important. Yeah,
Yeah,
very,
yes,
very helpful if they actually, because otherwise, I mean, they're not fully helping, I don't think, because there's a whole part of you that they're not really addressing or even aware of. So that's awesome.
precisely. Yes, I really love going to therapy with her. And yes, that would be like one of my biggest suggestions to people who just found out that they are highly sensitive person. They must go to therapy. Like you
Hmm.
need guidance in this process of rediscovering yourself and deconstructing yourself as well, because we are living in a society where showing too much emotions, you're cataloged as intense or as crazy, or also it takes us to the path to meet certain narcissists, and they try to gaslight you or manipulate you somehow, and if you are not aware of who you are, it's just going to make them easier. And
Hmm.
you need to set boundaries and how to set boundaries, because it's such a difficult thing for us, setting boundaries with others, because we
Yes.
just want to take care of everyone because
Hmm.
we feel so deeply.
Right.
And yeah,
Yes.
that's how, so far my experience after discovering that I'm a highly sensitive person.
Well, I'm so curious to hear about your business. So, can you talk a little bit about what it's been like having your own business and what it is that you do?
Yeah, I'm an English teacher. I've been a teacher since I was 18. I am 32 years old now. And I discovered that teaching was one of my passions, but also entrepreneurship, because I decided that I wanted to be out of the system, on the education system, the traditional one. So I am not just a teacher. I also studied for being an English coach. So I had a diploma degree on coaching too, educational coaching to be specific. And I decided to be out of the system because traditional teaching methodology is like, it takes a lot of time for students to be part of, like to gain certain level of English. And I said, why? And then I discovered that students that have been in different schools, they come to me and tell me, I do not know how to speak, and they are like an intermediate or upper intermediate level. And I'm like, how, if the test is telling me another thing? It's
Mm.
because I'm afraid. It's because I'm scared. It's because I get anxious. It's because I think that the native speaker is not going to understand me. And I am afraid of the perfection of the native speaker speaking to me, and I just get all of these voices in my head and prejudice them. And when I started listening to that, I decided to help students in a different way, not only in the technical aspects of what a language is, but also in the emotions that connect them and all of these prejudice that they have with them, but because media, because certain famous people. So I decided to start breaking those patterns. And that's why I decided to study coaching as well. And I offer my services as well as a coach, because some people, they got the level. It's not that they do not know grammar or vocabulary. It's just that they are afraid of going on, or they just want to do it very fast. They want to speak as a native speaker pace.
Mm.
And it's like, no, you cannot do that yet. You just need to master the grammar slowly, and then you may get some higher, some faster pace after it. But what you should do is first master the grammar, speak slowly, speak like Jack Sparrow, and and also, yeah, you should do that. And also give time to your brain. Be compassionate with your brain. Be compassionate with your brain, because you are learning a second language is not easy. You just need to give time for your brain to get all of those neurons to connect in order for you to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So be compassionate with it. Your brain is moving fast. You just need to give him time. So that's also what I explained in a basis of neuropsychology. So I explain them how their brain works as they are starting to learn this language. And I show them what is compassion and self-compassion. Like, that's why I say that discovering that I was a highly sensitive person gave me my superpower in service of others.
Yes.
Towards others, sorry. So I am so happy of discovering this, because now I can show them all of this empathy, all of this compassion that I'm aware of through something that I love, that is teaching.
Yes. Oh my
Second
gosh.
language.
That is so, I just love that so much. See, this is, ugh, I have so many things that I want to say and it's all going to come out at once. My brain like needs to sort through it. So yeah, this is why I think it's so important for us to be aware of being highly sensitive, of who we are, and why it is a gift, because you are taking this thing that I'm sure a lot of people teach. A lot of people do this, but not exactly in this way, not exactly with the thought and the compassion and the empathy behind it in the way that you're doing it. And you're really doing it to like fully support your students and your clients, fully support them, not just say, okay, here's English. Let's work on this, but saying this is how your brain works. This is why you are thinking this way and you are afraid to. I just love it so much. I think it's such a unique approach and so needed too. I just, it's wonderful.
Thank you. And also, I take support on the multiple intelligences theory from Howard Gardner. Basically, that's what I studied the whole master's degree, and I think it's such an important thing that students are aware of how they learn. Because when you know how you learn, it's easier to cut the path and learn faster, because you are not figuring out which is your learning style. So no. Here, for example, I have a 59-ish-year-old student who is an interpersonal student. So he learns by speaking. So what we do is just having speaking sessions, and then I tell him, okay, now you're going to add this structure in your speaking, and this is the meaning in Spanish of it. You should try to do it. Okay, so this is new for me. And we go through there, and we go pace by pace, step by step with him. I once had an architecture student who was like struggling a lot with the grammar structure. So I told her, let's buy some Legos and you are going to write down the different words and we're going to build a house with it. The idea is that we build a whole house with paragraphs in English, but with your
Wow.
Legos.
That is such a
Uh,
cool idea.
yeah, because she was a spatial visual. She needed to see and touch something
Hmm.
new. So in this case, I readapt lessons. And if I'm in a group and I have a bunch of different studies with such different ways, I teach grammar in 2 or 3 different ways. So everyone really understands the core of grammar and they can actually use it and apply it.
Hmm.
So that's basically what I do and why my highly sensitive persona is such a super girl. I mean,
Yes.
I am aware that I'm a superwoman and I can do all of this work for everyone and I'm in service to them
Hmm.
because that's part of who I am. I just want to, and in the moment I struggle a lot without the charging, like how much should I charge because it's a service and I'm a teacher. And then I said, no, stop. I have been studying, I have been working out my ass for these titles. Like, I mean, I deserve a well-paid remuneration for my services
Hmm.
because I'm also thinking in an holistic way. It's not just common English that you can find on a web page. Uh, it
Right.
it goes deeper, and I analyze each case individually. Like I really like to go deeper into what they are thinking, how they are going, how are my students going. Now that my business is starting to grow, and I have two teachers working with me, I need to be aware of how they are going with the clients, well, the students, and how they are feeling, and also how they are feeling, because the teaching profession is so underrated.
Mm.
And we commonly do not get paid well enough. I think it's a worldwide situation. It's not only Mexico or the US. I think it's just everywhere.
Hmm.
So what I do is to pay them a little additional of what it's the common rate because they need to prepare the classes. Usually they do not pay us how the lesson plan, the hours
Right.
that it takes us to make a lesson plan.
Hmm.
So they just pay you the time that you're in front of the classroom. So what I do is to pay them the lesson plan,
Hmm.
like the time that it takes them, like normally half an hour for an experienced teacher. I pay that time because it's their time and they are putting their time into service of their students too. And I
Right.
understand that. And I understand the needs of the teachers too. So
Hmm.
now that I'm expanding, I said, I need to create a new business model that, of course, is going to give them not only a quality service towards students, but also to teachers.
Right.
Like,
Hmm.
and that way, I'm trying to change things too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so thoughtful, I think, because you're right. Teachers, it's just like when you're here, you're paid, and when you're not, you might still be doing work, but that's just how the job goes. So I think that's great that you're actually taking that into consideration. I'm sure they really appreciate that too.
Yeah, I'm very happy with my teachers, and they're very happy with me. So
Oh, good.
I just want to keep it that way.
Yeah. So how, I know you said that you've had some difficulties with imposter syndrome. So can you talk a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
about how that has affected your work, maybe in the past and in the present, what that's like, how you've dealt with that, all that stuff?
Yeah, I have actually a story. It happened to me 2 years ago that I was just finishing the master's, just about to finish, and I started posting how I teach. And this girl came and she told me that she wanted business English, but I didn't figure out quite a good way or a different way of teaching business English without a book. So we began lessons and I made a mistake in a cover letter. So I made a mistake and she noticed it. And then after the next class, she told me, oh no, but actually is sincerely okay because, and she gave me a whole explanation. I was like so ashamed because I'm the teacher, you know, and we teachers tend to put so much pressure on being perfect.
Mm.
So when she told me that, I felt terrible. I said, I'm a failure, I suck. And I started to get really nervous with her. Like every session, I got really nervous. After a while, she began canceling. And she canceled, she canceled, she canceled, she canceled. And then when we finally get to see each other, she told me, no, you put me a book and I was expecting something different and I didn't like it, and etc., etc., etc. And she asked me for a refund. This was
Oh.
like the first refund ever in my life. So it was shocking for me. Of course, in the beginning, I start like blaming her and I start to being a little bit aggressive. But then all of this blameless, it came toward me. And I said, no, I'm a failure. I shouldn't be doing this. I should find another job. I should be hired as something else. I don't work for this. I'm not good enough. This girl is super disappointed on me, and I disappointed myself because I am not smart enough. I'm stupid. I started calling me names. So then I went to my psychologist. That's why it's so important, guys, to go to your psychologist.
Mhm.
um, and I told her the situation. And she explained to me, all right, this happened to you. What are all of these negative emotions that you're saying to yourself? So I write them on a paper, everything. And then I put them there and she told me, observe them. Now tell me all your qualities and the good services that you have given. And I write them down. And actually, all the good things were in a higher level, or they were more than the bad
Mm.
things. So, and they have a higher value. And she told me, okay, now compare. Who are you? What are you doing? Look at all the good that you have done. Yes, you had a problem with this girl, but this girl also had her things, right? And I was like, yes. So it's not your thing. She canceled you so many times and you couldn't tell her like how to move on. And I was like, yeah, okay. Then that's when I understood that the imposter syndrome probably was going to be there my whole life because of this tendency that I have of being like really picky and perfectionist in so many ways, but that I also have so many good things. And this all good that I have done to students, it's going to remain with me forever. So I try to stay with it and also um, divide the comments, like who is saying something negative about me. I only care if someone says something bad about me, if there's someone close to me. If they do not know me, okay, that's their opinion, but they do not know my real me.
Mhm.
And they can address their opinion, they can have it, they can agree or disagree with what I do and how I do it. But I know that I've been doing a good service towards people. So I try to remain with that thought all the time.
Mhm.
So that's basically how I have dealt, and of course with the imposter syndrome, and of course mindfulness. Mindfulness, two exercises that have helped me are rain and stop. Those two are my top mindfulness exercise, and grounding. I
Mhm.
try to do grounding whenever I can. Like sometimes I just walk in my house, sometimes outside, uh, or sometimes I'm just really aware of the environment of what I'm listening to. And I apply also mindfulness in my sessions to
Mm.
reduce anxiety, nervousness, and to improve listening as well.
Mhm.
So I try to be really holistic in everything, like
Yes.
everything that I do.
Oh, I love that. Can you talk about what those other two mindfulness exercises are so people can maybe use them if they want to?
Yeah, the first one is stop. And the first stop is literally that you stop for a moment if you feel overwhelmed, then you observe how you're feeling and if any of those emotions work for you in that specific moment. Like, let's say in my case, my uncle just passed away and I had to do a little stop in order to be here with you. So I observe my emotions and I ask myself, are my emotions towards my uncle working right now? No. Can I talk with Lauren and the highly sensitive community for 30 minutes, 45 minutes? I can. Okay. Can I cry my uncle later? Yes, I can. So I, sorry, that's it. Oh, the T, it's take a breath. So you take a breath, like you inhale and exhale, and when you exhale, you try that exhalation is a 5 seconds exhalation. You breathe in and then take out really slowly the air. And then you observe, and finally, the P is you pass the page, like you move on. Okay, so that's basically stop, and it should take you like 5 minutes to do it. And the second one, just let me double check what the acronym is.
Sure.
Because I always forget it. Especially in English.
Oh, yeah.
The rain is when you're feeling really overwhelmed. So the first one is to recognize your what is happening. Okay, so you recognize everything that's happening. Let's say that you're about to go into a business meeting and you feel overwhelmed because you have a lot of payments to do. So you just recognize, you say, okay, I need to do a lot of payments. And should I do them now? No, I cannot because I need to enter to this meeting in 2 minutes. Okay. So then you start feeling overwhelmed, and with the A, you allow the experience to be there, just to be. Okay, my emotion is overwhelmed. Okay, I just feel overwhelmed for a second. I know what it is. I just label my emotion. I just say that it's overwhelmed. And then you investigate with kindness. Like you say, okay, I'm feeling more overwhelmed because I need to do 5 payments and I haven't received my payroll yet. Okay, probably I should talk with the bank and tell them that I will pay them tomorrow. And then I should talk with this other credit card and tell them that I will pay them probably in the morning because I haven't received my payment yet. Or if I receive it later, and just solve. Like you investigate with kindness. And finally, the N is you nurture your non-identification. This means that you are self-compassion with you. Okay, you tell yourself that this is a feeling that you're having temporary and that you can find solutions with time with it. And some people, it's really mindful and they just think about it and they do it, but some others need to write it down. So if you want to write it down, do it and say, and so you can picture the whole scene and you can get to different solutions. So this is how you can do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing those. I hope other people will be able to use those too. So,
yeah.
and I am
too.
aware of the time, and I don't want you to be late for your students. So, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure to bring up before we go?
That they comment and they share, please.
Yes.
We need to raise our voice as highly sensitive people.
Yes, absolutely. And how can people connect with you on social media, all of that?
Yeah, I am on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn as Carmen or OR91.
Awesome. And I'll put that in the episode description too, so people can just click on that and connect with you. Thank you so much for coming on and for talking about sharing your story about the imposter syndrome, because I feel like that's something that so many of us struggle with. And I think so many of us are entrepreneurs. And so I feel like that real imposter syndrome can really come up with that, especially having your own business. Um, so thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of people will be able to relate. I certainly can. Um, so yeah, thank you. It was great talking to you.
No, thanks to you, Lauren, for inviting me and being open to talk. And I'm really glad to being able to share my story. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Highly Sensitive Podcast. You can help support the podcast by taking a minute to rate and review it, share a favorite episode with a friend, or become a subscriber on Patreon at patreon.com/highlysensitivepodcast. Visit laurenlasallecoaching.com for free resources, information about my coaching programs, and to join my email list. You can connect with me on Instagram at selfcarewithlaurenlasalle or email me at lauren@laurenlasallecoaching.com.